I feel like what's stopping DK in doing like 25, 26, 27s, right? It's not that they're not tanky enough. It's not that they don't deal enough damage.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Hey guys, Bicepspump here. I'm a Death Knight DPS guide writer for Awhile and Icy Veins, and I also do produce quite a lot of content for YouTube, where I do guide videos and analysis, that kind of thing. Then I also do stream on Twitch. I started playing back in Cataclysm, actually. So I was in high school, so first grade of high school in Sweden at the time, and we had a couple of people in my class that kind of played, so it got me to start. I had a mage as my first character. I remember specifically, right, we were doing these, I don't know, I was gearing up, it was late Cataclysm, and I had like 20% miss chance for some reason. I could never figure out why, but I was terrible at the game. I didn't do any damage at all. I remember there was this one boss we were going to kill, like, it was this dog thing, right? Goes in, I'm a mage, I pop bloodlust in the trash, right? Didn't start out great. In Mr. Pandaria, started raiding, so we had a kind of a raid team with a guild. So 10 people, all in the same class, good times. Remember, you know, first raid was in Mogshan Vaults. I was playing Death Knight, two-hand obliteration, or it was just two-hander back then. Good times. I remember the first item I ever got was allocated to the wrong guy at first, and he was like running around in Orgrimmar for 2 hours, teasing me about it before he gave it to me. That was kind of like where I started. So just playing my DK. I remember the reason I picked DK after doing Mage in Cataclysm was because you start at a higher level, right? So I felt like I don't want to level up again, so I just pick whatever is the easiest, and then I'll kind of never stop playing DK after that point. People do ask me, why do you play DK? Because I'm lazy, turns out, and I think it's just fun. Whenever I log in, the last thing I will be doing is doing like world quests or anything along those lines. I had a look the other day about my kind of reputation so far on Dragon Isles, and I'm currently at like level 4 with Toscar, that kind of thing. So that's not something I do. So obviously I do raid with a guild. So I would log in once or twice. We do 2 days a week maximum, but that was just 1 day reclear, right? And if I do have a like a good chunk of time, I will go in and I will do a Mythic Plus pushing. So spend on my stream, try and get some better IO, that kind of thing. If I don't have much time, I will kind of AFK in Valdrakken and try and make some blacksmithing stuff. I do enjoy the crafting bit at the moment. Like, historically, I've been doing quite a lot of blacksmithing. I like doing it now as well. Just crafting things for people, making some money in the game. I do want to kind of be self-sufficient, so crafting is a great way of actually being able to fund raiding and so on. I do get some money from raiding as well, because we do some boosting at the end of tiers, that kind of thing. But generally, I do enjoy crafting, so I will do that quite a lot. And it also means that I do level up my crafting every week, so I log in, do all the quests, and so on. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't do any mount farming. We talked about earlier. I have 140 mounts total. 141 actually, because I did buy the that dragon 2-seater mount because we're going to fly here. Didn't work out though. For the guide writing thing, right, End of Legion, I started getting to fear crafting. So there was this issue with the Dark Arbiter we had back in the day, where it had a bit of a variable cast time. So essentially, we're looking at these haste breakpoints for Dark Arbiter, where if you go just above a specific amount of haste, you would get an extra cast, right? And we wanted to represent that in simulation. So the kind of first theorycrafted bit I did was looking at logs to figure out, right, so at what haste level do we get an extra cast? And then also figuring out the variability there and putting that into simulations. Also around that time, I felt like the current guides on WoW kind of thing were inadequate. So I was playing at relatively high level. At least I was doing lots of damage. I felt like, you know, the guides don't really tell you enough. So I wrote my own kind of guide on a Google spreadsheet kind of thing. Not a spreadsheet, but Google document kind of thing, right? Put that in the Discord. And then when BFA came out, there was this opportunity to start writing for Frost DKs and WoWed. And I felt like, you know, I don't play Frost, but, you know, why do I not write a Frost guide? Because I can figure out, of course. So got that BFA pre-patch, and then I felt like the Unholy guide wasn't up to par. So the guy that was writing Unholy, he was replaced with me essentially, so I took that over as well. So BFA pre-patch, I got both Frost and Unholy and Wowhead, and then a couple of months ago now, the guy writing the Ice Veins guides decided to step down. He named me as the kind of obvious guy to take over. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I got that as well. So currently I have a bit of a guide monopoly here, where I write the kind of the major guides for both the specs. We also have like this, I know Method makes some guides as well, but I currently feel like I'm currently in the position where I can I put out the majority of guide content essentially, and I'm quite happy with that as well. I enjoy playing the game because I really enjoy optimizing my gameplay. So essentially chasing high logs and chasing better raid kind of ranks is something I try to do a lot, and I very much enjoy it. I'm currently ranked 2 all-stars for Unholy DK, which is something I very much enjoy being, and something I try and aim for. So you're just getting the best logs out there without, inting my raid or anything. I'm not. I like to view myself as a responsible DPSer. That's definitely like a mini game that keeps me in it. I want to continuously improve myself, continuously get better, and see that being represented in when I play. I think I found a very good balance now as well. So I play in a guild which only raids 2 days a week, and we're like rank 120. So it's a very, very competitive format, a very short raid time, but very efficient. And at this point in time, I very much enjoy being there and doing what I'm doing. So just think it's fun in the game. I also think like Unholy DK currently, it's really fun to play. That's also an aspect, right? I remember BFA, I didn't play much because Unholy DK in raid was just a snooze fest. There was no room for optimization. I felt like player skill didn't matter, whereas nowadays I feel like player skill matters quite a lot for Unholy DK. So the difference between a good player and a bad player is going to be huge in the current format, and that is something I like to see because I want to see that kind of skill expression. And then I'm such a DPSer, right? I enjoy doing a lot of damage. I like doing middle class and kind of topping the meters. I like representing classes which are generally underrepresented. So I will play my Frost DK keys and showing out, I can beat everyone in DPS when I'm doing a plus 25, kind of just showing that it is possible. And then currently, right, my Twitch, enjoy streaming. There's been a quite large increase in my viewership lately. It also keeps me going. So whenever I see this kind of increase in YouTube views or Twitch views or whatever, I'm very excited about the game. I play a lot and kind of continue pushing to kind of grow that content creator kind of sphere as well. I feel like Blizzard has been doing well lately. Dragonflight is a big success from my point of view. I very much enjoyed the kind of frequent tuning they've done recently. So lots of classes have received lots of changes. I feel like the meta has been has been the opposite of stale, right? Lots of buffs, coming in. Just as an example, on Holy, we were bottom, right? It buffed us up. With people moving all over the kind of rankings. Very much enjoy that kind of fluid, fast-paced tuning, and I hope we can see that in the future. I think what would stop me playing is like kind of if it becomes too stale. So if patches were too long in between each other, if we had like a very rigid meta that never changed, that would mean that it would be less enjoyable for me. Also, obviously, if Unholy DK ends up, bottom tier in raid, bottom tier mid class, that's also going to have an effect on me. But I can always revert to Frost, right? So generally, it's kind of fine. I think in the end, I would stop playing if the game just stopped being updated and stopped being kind of novel every few months. I feel like the game had changed in different ways. So obviously, has changed from my point of view. I do like to think back, right? When I started playing this Pandaria, how good were I? Like, I have no kind of insight. I felt like I did good damage, right? I hit big obliterates. But I have absolutely no insight whether or not I actually played well. So from my point of view, it's definitely been a journey where, I stopped playing casually in a sense, so I just kind of played the game as I thought it was best. And nowadays, just incredibly optimized, just kind of doing the absolute amount of damage possible, and I have a much better sense of how I fare up against everyone else because we got the logs and whatever. The game itself, I feel like it's kind of the same thing as it used to be. Like, it feels very much the same. Obviously, nowadays we don't have any grinds. There's no artifact power, which I very much prefer. So the game is much more kind of low touch for me in a sense compared to what it used to be. But I feel like progression, raids, they feel the same. Obviously we now have Mythic Plus, which has evolved over time, which is I like it, right? Back in Mist Pandaria, you didn't really run dungeons. Nowadays, it's a core part of gameplay, which I enjoy. I think the core aspects of the game are very much the same. Like, you have your rotation, you have a similar amount of buttons. The complexity fluctuates over time. You have Legion was a bit more complex than when playing B-Faith Unholy. I don't know. It feels the same, but a lot of things have still gotten better. Some things have changed. Some people dislike what they've changed, but I very much enjoy what the game is now, and I've enjoyed it for quite a long time, actually. I feel like my primary goal is always going to be raid DPS, right? I want to be rank 1 All-Stars, and that's kind of always my goal. I also enjoy Myth Plus, but on a much more casual level. It's not like I push actively. I I run keys. I find some fun people to do it with. I try and increase my Ryo, but it's not like I aim to be rank 1 DK in Mythic Plus. So primary goal is always raids. I want to do the most amount of damage in raids. I want to be performing the best in my raid team, so dying the least, doing the mechanics properly, that kind of thing. And that has always, and pretty much always, been my kind of a main goal. There's been a journey, right? When I used to play, I stepped into Mythic for the first time, Mr. Pandaria, right? But I didn't get Cutting Edge until much later. I can't remember when I got the first Cutting Edge. But the last 2 expansions, both Shadowlands and now in Dragonflight, I've definitely been improving kind of like the world rank I play with guilds, and it's been cutting edge all the way. So currently, as I said, we're now also Hall of Fame. So it's really been an improvement over time where I've been improving myself and then trying to find better and better guilds. I feel like I'm generally too much of a happy player, as in I'm easily satisfied with what I'm given. And I usually just take what I'm given and I try to, think about how we improve upon that. For instance, I'm generally not very good at brainstorming new talents, whatever. But I like to take a look at what talents have been given us, what can we change with these talents realistically in this patch to make them better and more fun to play. I enjoyed back in the day, was it in Shadowlands, right, where we did some PvP to get gear. I'm an absolute PvP player, right? I'm can get 1800 by just going full on PvE rotation, but I enjoy dipping my toes in that, and I think I enjoy if it was a bigger part, the gearing structure. So not that it gave you the best gear, but still it gave you some viable alternatives at the start of a tier. I enjoy that. But generally, I'm very happy about the current game. I want it to stay as it is. I don't want any, it's more about, what do I not want to change to the game. I don't want to get any grinds back. Artifact power, hate it. I actually got demoted from a guild back in the day because I didn't have enough time to farm artifact power. So, very much dislike that. But I don't think there's any specific part of the game that I, dislike. It would be nice, okay, one thing, right, specifically about DKs, I wish they had something more to bring to a Mythic Plus environment that, could eventually make them better. Currently, I feel like what's stopping DK in doing 25, 26, 27s, right? It's not that they're not tanky enough, it's not that they don't deal enough damage, it's just that they don't bring that little extra utility which so many other classes bring. We don't have Chaos Brand, we don't have Shout, we don't have Master Spell, we don't have Bloodlust. We do have Grip, right? But that utility doesn't really cut it. So it would just be nice if we had that little bit of extra. That would mean that we could actually be brought to higher Mythic Plus. I'd say I'm proud of the YouTube content I've been able to bring. I feel like it is helpful to a lot of people, and I feel like people are generally very appreciative of the YouTube content I do bring out, and it makes me proud that I can get that out to people. I think I'm also generally proud of my DPS. I get back to this I'm such a good DPS whore, Jesus Christ, but when I get ranked to All Stars, I feel very proud about that. I'm very happy because it does matter to me specifically because it brings credibility to my guides. Right, it is a bit of an issue if I were to go in a raid and I would be passing, getting, blue passing, whatever. It would be an issue because people could look at that and go, why are you writing this guide when you obviously are not good enough to get good ranks? You know what I mean? So I'm also proud that I'm continuously able to prove the fact that I know how to play this class and I know how to do a lot of damage. And as I said, I'm happy how that brings some credibility to the content I produce. All right, yeah. Do you feel free to have a look at my YouTube channel, just Bicepspump, and I do try and stream both raids and Mythos on my Twitch. That's Bicepspump with an 1 instead of I. I stupidly created the OG Bicepspump Twitch account and then forgot the password, so I had to create a new one. So that's why we got a bit of an odd name. But hopefully that's in the description so you can have a look at what exactly the link is.